Sea of Thieves hasn't even fully released to the world, and already it's proving to be a game full of mysteries worthy of investigation. In this first ever mystery report, I will be covering several things that caught my attention pre-release. One of the most prominent points of interest is something called Lucky 13. On March 1st, 2018, the official Sea of Thieves YouTube channel uploaded a video titled Customization. When you skip to the 2-minute mark, a framed painting on the right side of the screen can be seen, and for only a few seconds, a superimposed word search puzzle will appear. Now, there's a few interesting things going on here in this word search, but I'll begin with the 13 words found at the bottom. It was discovered that after crossing off all 13 of these words, seen here in red, that a phrase could be made using the remaining letters, seen here dotted in blue. The resulting phrase is "no lemons at all." So what does that mean? One theory suggests that during this time period there was a disease called scurvy that was very prominent. It was the result of a vitamin C deficiency, and one of the proposed treatments of it was to eat a lot of lemons. So by not having lemons, no lemons, you would probably have scurvy. There just so happens to be an island in the Sea of Thieves called Scurvy Isle, which is the only one with scurvy in its name. The atoll portion of the "no lemons atoll" phrase could refer to a couple different things, one of which being an island just to the east called Black Sand Atoll. Something weird about this island is how it doesn't at all look like an atoll. This sort of land formation is supposed to have a prominent ring-like appearance, which this island does not have. The only other atoll in the game is an island called Old Salts Atoll, which is far away in the Ancient Isles, and that one doesn't really look like an atoll either. If we go with the assumption that Lucky 13 is intended to point us towards Scurvy Isle and Black Sand Atoll, where do we go from here? Well, one theory suggests that it's meant to point us towards Old Faithful Isle, seen here between the two. Before I move on to discussing that island, I want to point out one last interesting detail in the original word find. A very small symbol can be seen here towards the middle. Using this symbol, the word Pandora can be spelled here, traced in green. Originally, it was thought that this symbol was supposed to represent the shape of an island, but thanks to the unveiling of the Quest for Golden Bananas contest, we now know that the symbol is actually a banana symbol, which has been found on other puzzles related to the contest. So, does this mean that Lucky 13 is just one of the contest puzzles? I think because this puzzle was given to us so early, before the contest was even a thing, that it might serve multiple purposes. One purpose is to give us the word Pandora for the contest, and to encourage us to investigate Old Faithful Isle. Even if it ends up being that Lucky 13 wasn't intended to point us towards Old Faithful Isle, this island has a lot of interesting qualities on its own that are worth taking a look at. Right away, you'll notice that this island is huge. It's one of the largest in the game. It's also very round, covered in skeleton stuff, and has a particularly interesting rock formation on the northeastern corner. After spending a lot of time searching this place, I couldn't find this particular rock formation anywhere else in the game. It consists of a line of tall pointed stones that appear to be filling in a large opening of some kind. This is where things get really exciting from a mystery hunting perspective. The terrain behind these stones is actually cut away, as if a level designer intends to allow us access to this island's interior at some point in the future. Nowhere else on this entire island is the terrain cut away in this same manner. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate this here, but you can actually glitch yourself inside the island by using the weird rock structure because it was just sort of slapped onto the side of the island and there's big gaps underneath that you can fit inside. Don't get excited though, because there's currently nothing inside the island. What could all of this mean? There's a little something you may have heard of called the legendary Pirate Cove, which is an exclusive in-game hideaway for players who have invested a significant amount of time into the game. The developers stated that the island that hides this cove has been in all of the beta tests, however, nobody has access to it. Old Faithful Isle could easily contain some kind of large hideaway and provide ship access. There's even skeleton towers guarding the place. To top things off, remember Lucky 13? That puzzle contained the name Pandora. I think this is important because part of the lore behind the legendary Pirate Cove is an old ship called Athena's Fortune. In a recently released trailer, the nameplate of this ship can be seen hanging from the ceiling over the legendary pirate tavern. So what's the connection? Well, in ancient Greek mythology, Athena was partially responsible for the creation of Pandora. So, by the Lucky 13 puzzle theoretically pointing us to Old Faithful Isle and containing the word Pandora, we have both a lore-related connection to the legendary cove and a physical one, with the island's large size and the strange rock formation that's hiding that opening. Old Faithful Isle might be the home of the legendary cove. Just to throw another quick theory into the mix, since Lucky 13 contained the golden banana contest symbol, maybe this island is just a part of the contest. Has nothing to do with the legendary cove. Maybe. To finally finish the subject of this island, I want to do what all good investigators do and present some counter evidence to show how this island may not house the legendary cove. For one, we were told that players would be able to sail their ships straight inside the island, and the opening I've been talking about isn't quite large enough to fit a galleon. And the land below the entrance is so shallow that only a sloop could navigate through without scraping the bottom. We were also told that the entrance to the legendary cove would be concealed by a waterfall, and there's no waterfalls on this island anywhere. However, there is a little pool of water on top. Maybe that could support a waterfall in the future? The game is undergoing continuous updates, so it's possible that the island's appearance could change after launch. Also, a little random detail is that there are currently 65 charted islands in the Sea of Thieves. Shore Aplenty contains 22, the Ancient Isles also has 22, but the Wilds, where Old Faithful Isle resides, only contains 21. Maybe there's some kind of secret island in this region everyone has overlooked. The Sea of Thieves is divided into 3 regions, each with their own characteristics. To the northwest lies the Shores of Plenty, characterized by vibrant colors and dense vegetation. To the northeast, we have the Wilds, which is a haunted, unforgiving landscape littered with bones. But to the south is a region known as the Ancient Isles, characterized by ancient lost civilizations. Where things start to get really mysterious is this whole area around the center. The first thing you'll notice about the center is this gigantic rock formation that looks like an arch formed by 2 monoliths that sort of just smashed together. Remember what this looks like because I believe this particular shape is important to the history of this world. I'm sure you've heard by now, but there are a series of uncharted islands in the central region, each containing some pretty mysterious things. The first thing to know are all the sunken ships that can be found around here. Some that look like they've been here so long that they're barely even recognizable as ships anymore. And the next thing that stands out are what appear to be the remains of an ancient civilization. There's a variety of different types of ruined structures that can be found around here, from arches to columns and some kind of stone altar with a triangular shape cut out in the middle. But I'm going to come back to this one in a bit. Out further away from the ancient looking ruins, you can even find what appear to be some newer remains of a structure of some kind. I haven't been able to find these particular remains anywhere else in the Sea of Thieves, so it might be unique to this spot. If you swim even deeper around this area, you'll eventually find an underwater rocky passage. It eventually leads to a fully enclosed chamber that's littered with some kind of empty boxes, an empty chest, a ship wheel, and the skeletal remains of a parrot? A similar underwater passage will lead you to this place, which is probably the most striking of them all. The focal point of this room is like an ancient head-like statue, and it's surrounded by torches. There's bats in this area, and there's even some diggable sand off to the side. So what does everything I just showed you have in common? Well, they all just sort of exist without any currently known purpose. When you arrive at these islands, you won't get the usual introduction cinematic. There's no NPCs, there's no treasure, there's nothing to interact with. It's very possible that the intended purpose of this region will become much more apparent once the game fully releases. But even knowing that, there's still a lot to read into here. Things are about to get real theoretical again, so hold on tight. A few days ago, we were emailed what Rare calls a digital sampler for a book titled Tales from the Sea of Thieves. One particular line found in the section about the pirate lord caught my attention. Even in those formative years, the Sea of Thieves was rife with secrets. Any visitor to the ancient isles can attest to the existence of an ancient civilization whose echoes can still be heard in cursed caves and submerged temples. Cursed caves and submerged temples. I'm pretty sure this passage just described exactly what we were just looking at. So now we have the connection that the submerged temples are considered part of the ancient isles, even though they're located around the center of the map. The idea of environmental storytelling has played a pivotal role in the creation of the Sea of Thieves world. It's the idea that a story can be told just by observing the details within an environment, finding patterns, and making connections. For example, one dominant theme recognized throughout the world is the use of simple diamond-like shapes and 90-degree angles in connection with the ancient history. A perfect example of this can be seen in the decorative flourishes around the title for the Ancient Isles. This theme is also prevalent among anything related to the Order of Souls, which is a faction dedicated to gaining knowledge of the ancient world. Notice her diamond-shaped earrings, the necklace, the fasteners, and the forehead of the skull hanging at her side. Even their signage uses this diamond shape with a dot in the middle. This symbol can be seen everywhere. It's on rock paintings, it's on books. It's definitely something to keep an eye out for. When taking a look back at the underwater ruins from earlier, these same types of sharp angles can be seen here as well. So this is definitely an ancient city, judging by the aesthetic. Now, let's return back to the rock formation that began this whole discussion. When taking a closer look at the shape, there's this theme of two sides converging into one, and resulting in a triangular shape. I'm imagining that this is symbolically representing a formative event in this world's history. Now, let's take a look at the design seen on that stone altar from a while back. It appears to be more than a triangle. There's also two shapes on each side of the triangle converging into one. Notice the vertical line that divides the two sides. This echoes the shape of the large rock formation that's at the center of the world as well. So all of these things appear to be connected by this one central theme. Let's take a second to think about this. What other aspect of the Sea of Thieves world deals with mysterious underwater cultures, two things converging into one triangle shape, and a love for shipwrecks? That would be the Merfolk. I'm calling them Merfolk because the Tales from the Sea of Thieves book refers to them that way. I mean, you'll hear mermaids, mermen, merpeople, merperson, I'll just say Merfolk for now until I'm told otherwise. Since the very beginning, the developers have described the Merfolk as being ordinary people plagued with a curse. This curse transforms their body until they take on an entirely alien-looking form. Something prevalent among the artistic depictions of the Merfolk is the use of triangles, especially in regards to the shape of their tail fins. This rock painting shows the three-phase transformation relative to the cycles of the moon from a crescent to a full moon. So what is that, like half a month? Take note on how two legs converge into a single triangular form. The Merfolk seem to be divided into two factions. There's the evil orange-eyed ones, and in this painting it's depicted as drawing regular people underwater, probably to do some kind of evil things to them, like maybe spread the curse, who knows. And then on the right side, we have the friendly blue-eyed ones, who I believe are the same ones that help us return to our ships when we get lost. Notice how the depiction on the right side here is holding the same branch-like item that the mermaid that helps us get back to our ships is holding as well, so I'm pretty sure they're the same thing. Also note that the orange one on the left is holding a different item which looks like some sort of menacing trident weapon. Merfolk also seem to be attracted to shipwrecks, as we've seen in this scene from an early trailer. It makes me wonder if we'll find them hanging around sunken ships, knowing that they might be able to ambush an unsuspecting treasure hunter. And remember that the uncharted islands that were found around the center of the map have all kinds of shipwrecks in this area, so I think it's safe to say that the Merfolk are closely connected with everything that's going on in the middle of the map. Remember that line from earlier? Any visitor to the ancient isles can attest to the existence of an ancient civilization whose echoes can still be heard in cursed caves and submerged temples. Whose echoes can still be heard. Anyone who's explored these ruins have reported hearing special music that only plays in this area. Perhaps these are the echoes of the ancient civilization? The final piece of this whole analysis stems from yet another passage from Tales from the Sea of Thieves sampler regarding the shores of plenty. This old place has only recently broke free of the Devil's Shroud, but it's now a beautiful spot attracting the friendly kinds of people we like. Broke free of the Devil's Shroud. The grammar of that sentence makes me think that maybe the Devil's Shroud is a curse? To break free from a curse? And where else have we heard about curses? Well, how about the curse that transforms people into mermaids or merfolk? There's a lot more to this theory, so brace yourselves. On Discovery Bay, where I found all of these paintings depicting the merfolk, I also found this. Guess what this is? A stingray, specifically a devil ray. You can tell because of the long tail and the two horn-like parts in the front. Even when looking at the design of the merfolk, you can see the resemblance with the two devil ray-like fins sticking out of the sides of their body. But this gets even better. In the same trailer that showed us the merfolk hanging around the sunken ship, I found this in the background. If you look at the left, you see a devil ray. Now this animal wasn't in any of the alphas or betas, so maybe we can see it in the future. As you can see, the merfolk have many connections with the word devil, which leads me to believe that the Devil's Shroud is the mermaid curse. A shroud is a piece of fabric wrapped around someone who has passed away, so a devil's shroud could possibly be an abstract representation of how human legs become bound together during a transformation into a mer person, with the devil part meaning that they're taking on a devil ray-like appearance in the process. To top it all off, there's an island in the Ancient Isles called Devil's Ridge, and a very old map of the game's world even has the phrase "the Devil's Shroud" written near this island. So who wants to bet that we'll find devil rays around this island at some point? Oh, and there's also a shipwreck called the Hellborn Mermaid, too, in case you wanted even more connections between merfolk and devil. The takeaway theory from all of this is that the Devil's Shroud seems to have played a very important role in the formation of the Sea of Thieves, including the creation of the Mer people. And we may begin to learn more about its origins through studying the ancient ruins from around the game world. Well, as you can see, this game has given us a lot to think about, and I'm very excited for its future and whatever other mysteries we uncover. You can expect me to release another report video once I've had a chance to explore the full release. It probably won't be as long as this one, just because this one was the result of me starting from nothing and playing the alphas and the betas and the entirety of that experience. So I'll probably release several smaller videos as new things are discovered. If anything I had to say here interests you and you'd like to join other like-minded mystery enthusiasts, I recommend following LudoCrypto on Twitter and joining our Discord. It's a great place to share any weird discoveries that you might come across in Sea of Thieves and give everyone a chance to talk about it and figure out if there's more to be found. Thank you for spending your time with me on this first ever mystery report. I'll see you all next time.